Good afternoon, folks. Welcome back to Project Megalodon. I got a bit of an interesting video today. This probably does not mean any sense to anybody, nor do they probably care, but I like to pick out details in movies that I love, and I like to complain about them in ways that people probably will be intrigued to know about. But my biggest thing is the opening scene to the MEG caught my attention because... And just bear with me here. I'm gonna try to make this a short video, but it's kind of hard to explain, so bear with me here. The opening scene to the MEG obviously opens up with Jonas in a deep sea rescue mission, saving members of a, I'm guessing, nuclear submarine. You don't say if it's nuclear or not, but just a submarine in general. And they're in the Philippine Trench. Now, why does this matter? Well, let's take a look at the opening scene one more time. I have it on video. This scene is a different trench from the Mariana Trench. They say it's the Philippine Trench, and that is not the Mariana Trench. The Mariana Trench is miles and miles away from the Philippine Trench. And if you don't believe me, I have a photo up here. You'll see in the middle of the screen, Philippine Trench, right below the word Philippine. Philippine Trench, right in the middle there almost. And then to the top right corner, above Federal States of MIC, which is cut off because it's the image, you see the Mariana Trench. Those are a huge distance away. Why is this important, you might ask? Well, the Mariana Trench, that scene is 5 years after the intro to this. And in the Mariana Trench scene, which I have on screen now, they go through the Thermocline for the first time. And as far as we know right now, the Mariana Trench is the only trench that we are assuming in the world, in this universe, that has a Thermocline, which means it is the only trench that has that built-off layer of oxygen, allowing life of big proportions to be underneath it. Now, this is significant. Why? Well, I think the Megalodon in the first scene of the MEG is a different... I'm not going to say species, because it's a Megalodon, but that is in a different part of the ocean than the first other one. You're talking miles away, but the question is did that come from the Mariana Trench and it got out somehow, or was that already somehow loose in the water? Because in this first opening scene, and I want to highlight this part right here, at the end of it, right before the submarine explodes, you'll see what looks like the edge of a canyon before it drops off. And the Mariana Trench, you can see a really thin layer, which looks like what it would be the bottom of it. And then they go to the Thermocline. And the bottom of the ocean, it looks very different. It's very bright lit. And this opening scene is a lot darker. And you can see the submarine is not remotely close to the edge of the seafloor, in my opinion. It looks like it's on the ridge of the seafloor, or it's on a corner of the trench going down into the Philippine Trench. But this is significant. This shark has already been out of the water. Now, was this already adapted to the cooler, warmer Pacific water, and it was never even in the trench to begin with? Does the Philippine Trench have a thermocline? We don't know. There could be a thermocline below that, and something could have triggered that, to be opened up and for that to get out. But regardless, this is hundreds of miles from the Mariana Trench, and this Megalodon is already out in the open sea. Like, that massive submarine would not have gone to the Thermocline, because I don't think that would have been able to withstand all the pressure, whereas those new submersibles 5 years later seem to be able to be withstanding that pressure from that depth. This probably doesn't mean anything to anybody, but I think it's intriguing that they go 5 years later, for the first time they discover a Megalodon. They go down there, they discover it, and then they unleash it by making a massive hole in the Thermocline, and it's able to escape to the warm water because that water is freezing cold down there. It was able to escape through it and get a path up to the surface. But in the opening scene, the shark that attacked Jonas in that submarine before he was able to escape with the crew he was able to save, that shark has already been out there for who knows how long. Could have been millions of years, could have been years, and it might have just been able to survive. My other question is that the only Megalodon in the ocean at that time? Is that a female? Is it a male? You see a little glimpse of it next to the submarine before it explodes, and it looks pretty damn massive. I honestly, if you want my opinion, I would probably say it's a male. I don't think that's a female. I could be wrong. It's hard to tell from just a blurry image, but I have a feeling that that shark has been in the water for quite some time, and it's just intriguing to me because I wonder where it came from. Is there a thermocline we don't know about in the Philippine Trench, and it somehow got up from there by something else being, triggering that, or has it already been in the water and it's just following the migration patterns of whales, and maybe migrating whales were in this area, and then the shark mistaken the submarine for a whale and attacked it. But it's just intriguing to me that this opening scene takes place like this, and it's not even the same trench as the Megalodon that they actually discover to begin with. And especially in later on in the movie, Jonas even says, "I discovered the same species down there. I was not crazy." So I'm curious to know, where did it come from? How long has that been alive? And it's just intriguing to me. But just small little details like this that make me think. Is it nothing to worry about, or is it just me just nitpicking stupid stuff? But yeah, if you guys thought this video is interesting, and give me theories on where you think this Megalodon came from, if this has been living in this trench by itself, or if it's just been on its own. But that's all for today's video. Stay out of the deep and have a great day.